We've talked on the YouTube channel in the past, guys, about the new Spider-Man that got announced, that being Spider-Man Miles Morales. And what I gotta say, guys, is that I'm incredibly intrigued by this story. I think that this is a game that could be a really great follow-up to Marvel's Spider-Man. And I wanted to go ahead and take this segment of the show and talk about the things that we know about the game, and that way we can break it down, give our own opinions, and I would love to hear your opinions about this new Spider-Man and the new take on Spider-Man in the comment section down below. So let's talk about it. So guys, in an article that was written by Josh Coulson of The Gamer, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales is the expansion standalone sequel we've all been waiting for. It has been almost 2 weeks since Sony revealed that a new Spider-Man game is coming to PS5 before the end of 2020. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, even though it has been almost 2 weeks and Insomniac has been scarce when it comes to revealing details, that hasn't stopped fans from talking about it non-stop. So as far as the expansion standalone sequel we've all been waiting for, the main question Spidey fans had following the release of the trailer was what exactly Miles Morales is. Some assumed it was a sequel, but then a Sony VP reported it was an expansion on the first Spider-Man game the following day. Hours later, a spokesperson from Insomniac revealed that wasn't true either. Even though Miles Morales follows on from the first game, it will be a standalone title, so not a sequel or an expansion. So that's kind of the first big thing. A lot of people, I keep calling it Spider-Man 2, guys, because it feels like the continuation from the first game, but it also kind of feels like it is its own thing. So it's not a sequel, it's not an expansion, it's going to be its own standalone title, which I really appreciate. I think this is going to be great to play as Miles, have a new, kind of a fresh take almost on Spider-Man, so I'm excited about it to say the least. It will be set in the same universe with the same characters though. This is the same Morales who is bitten by a spider at the end of Marvel's Spider-Man. We may even get a cameo appearance from Peter Parker, although there has been no official word in regard to that as of yet. And look, at the end of the day, guys, I think that Peter Parker is certainly going to be in this game. I mean, you would have to assume so, just because, like, maybe he's, in it later on in the game or something, or they start working together near the end of the game, which would be really interesting, kind of really set this thing up. Having both of them as playable characters would be interesting, but I think for me, guys, why I want to play as Miles is because I want to learn more about this character. Now, of course, Miles has been in the comics and such. I don't know much about him, though. And that's why we know so much about Peter Parker as of right now and, just throughout the years. But Miles is this, kind of this newer character, at least to me, and I would personally like to learn more and more about him, and that's why I can't wait to take the helm as him playing, the web slinger. Morales is still living in New York City, and his story will take place 1 year after the first game ended, during winter, so expect to see a New York City caked in snow. The game's creative director has even given fans a little insight into what Morales' main story will be about. Morales lives in Harlem, and the borough finds itself at the heart of a battle between an energy corporation and a high-tech criminal army. Although the same blog post reveals that the game will welcome fresh villains, there has been no official word on who those villains will be. So, look, I just want him to surprise me. At the end of the day, when it comes to the villains and such, guys, I just want him to surprise me, and I want there to be similarities to the first game, but also differences. And so, having some of the, similar, enemies and villains from the first game, and then having some different ones, I think would be really appreciated. In terms of the game's length, since it isn't a sequel and will act more as a stopgap between the franchise's two major games, it won't be quite as long and players won't have as much to do. As expected, its creators have confirmed it will be similar in style and length to Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, another game described as being a standalone title. That means it will take players an average of 7 hours to play through the main story and somewhere in the region of 16 to 100% the game. It should also mean the game is slightly cheaper, although since it will be on PS5, there's no knowing what the price might be at this stage. I would say, guys, it's probably going to be the standard price, the $60 price tag most likely, because they know they're going to be able to get that out of people. And Look, if you're going to compare Uncharted: The Lost Legacy, I know there's been a lot of people who really liked Lost Legacy. I didn't like it that much. I thought it was good as far as like within the universe, but there was nothing like playing Nathan Drake, and I just didn't think that it was quite as good. But yes, it was, it was basically like a side story or standalone to the Uncharted games. It was my least favorite, so I hope that this, though, Miles Morales in the Spider-Man universe, I hope this actually exceeds my expectations. That being like it even is better than the first Spider-Man game, which might be hard, but I would really like to see that. I think it would be really awesome. I think part of what would make this a pretty positive kind of experience, guys, is if they had more modes than just the single player story. If you had the story, which is, whatever, a 7-hour story or something, and then afterwards, if there's at least side missions and like multiplayer and co-op and things of that nature to keep you coming back, I think that would be really important. It would justify the $60 price tag. It sounds as if the fast travel feature from Marvel's Spider-Man will be transferred over to Miles Morales, but due to faster loading times, this process will be almost instantaneous. Developers have also promised enhanced visuals compared to the first, which again is to be expected since it will be on a next-gen console. Other than the fact that it will be released holiday 2020, probably alongside the release of the PS5, that's all we know about Miles Morales so far. So with that, guys, I think it's important that we break down a couple of things. Obviously, we've made videos on the YouTube channel about Spider-Man Miles Morales on here, and you guys can check out all that content. And we've talked about the things that we want, that being like multiplayer, having, even more side missions and things of that nature. If this is going to be only a single player story or campaign, I think it's really important, guys, that there's a lot to do outside of even just say the 7-hour story. I think it's important that there are side missions, things to keep you coming back, because even justifying the price for a 7-hour story, if it's $60 for it, I just don't know if it's going to be worth it at the end of the day for that. I feel like there needs to be more to do within the world and be able to, play multiplayer. I mean, I think this could do really well as a multiplayer experience. But that's neither here nor there at this point, guys, because we don't know everything that's going to be entailed in this game. We don't even know if it's going to be able to stick to the holiday 2020 release date because of the pandemic going on. We hope so. Fingers crossed, guys, that it sticks to that. But there's a possibility it could get pushed back even further. I hope it doesn't, but we'll have to kind of keep an eye on it, and I'll be sure to keep you guys all up to speed as further information comes out. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys are most excited about the new Spider-Man title, Miles Morales. And for more Spider-Man Miles Morales content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.